All right, so we are recording. I have my mic plugged in. Everything is going great. This is a SPSS guide on how to do a two-way between groups ANOVA. And I have the data pulled up from our lecture last week, I think, where we had, let's see. Let's not use that one. Let's actually use the male-female Democrat-Republican data with liking Donald Trump. And again, this is made-up data. So what we want to do is we want to find any main effects on gender, see if there are main effects on political party, or see if there are any interactions between, whoops, I don't want to do that, between gender and political party on liking Donald Trump. And this is on a scale from 1 to 10, made up data. See how much different parties and different genders like Donald Trump. So this is a little bit of a complicated process, so I'm going to try to walk through this kind of slow. Might be a bit of a longer video, so let's see what happens here. First, we will go to variable view and we will list participant as our first variable in variable view. And I'm going to go ahead and lower the decimals to 0. And then we're just going to list participants. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 12, it looks like. Each of these numbers represents one participant, so we've got 12 of them. So we'll just do 1, 2, and just go all the way down. Give them each arbitrary IDs. Okay, so we've got our participant ID numbers listed here. So now what we want to do is we want to list each participant's gender, probably in this column. We want to list their political party in this column, and then we want to list their score in the final column, and we want to make sure that it goes all the way across, that it's consistent. So for participant 1, we have a male Democrat who has a score of 2. So first of all, let's go get these variables entered into variable view down here. Our second variable, we'll say that's gender. And we will move the decimals down to 0 because we don't need any decimals. And now we actually have to mess with our values in this column. You might remember this from our previous videos. So we have to code male to be represented by a number because, again, if we just type in this participant's gender as male, SPSS just doesn't know how to do that, cannot compute it. So we have to turn that into a number. In values, we're going to click this little ... next to the none once we highlight it. And so let's just say male is listed first. We'll say male is 1. The value is 1, and it will be, there we go, sorry, it's lagging a little bit. So label is going to be male. So value 1, male is the label. So we will add that. So anytime we type a 1 into the gender column, it means male. The participant is identified as male. So we will use 2 and label that as female. Make sure you're doing both of these in the same row, or in the same values column right here. I tried pointing to it with my finger, but you can't see that. So we've got 1 female, or 1 male, 2 female. You can do this however you like, as long as you're matching it the correct way. You could do like 20 is male and 506 is female. As long as it doesn't really matter. It's just whichever number works for you. I tend to do 1 and 2, 0 and 1, -1 and 1, whatever you want to do. All right, so we'll hit OK here. So this is indicating that whenever we type in a 1, we're indicating that that participant is male. So we type a 1 in here. All right, this participant is male. So we're just going off of this first individual right now. We'll do the next variable. This is going to be political party. Probably a lot of different ways you could call that. I'm going to move the decimals down to 0 since we don't need those. And then our values, we're going to say 1 equals Republican. We will add that. We'll say that 2 indicates Democrat. We'll add that, and then we'll hit OK. All right, so we've got our values for this one. So if we go back to our first participant, since he is a Democrat, we will just hit that 2. So far the information indicates that participant 1 is a male, as indicated by the 1, and is a Democrat, as indicated by the 2. Yep, just want to make sure that that's all correct. Now, this column is going to be their score. So we can just add that variable. We'll just call it like Trump. I'll get rid of those decimals, and we don't need to add any values because the numbers are just numbers on a scale from 1 to 10. So we'll go back to data view. So participant 1, our male Democrat participant here, scored a 2. So we will write their score down here. And we're just going to do this for all of our participants now. We've got to find the value for male and Democrat for our second participant, who also scored a 2. So they are also a male Democrat who likes Trump 2 out of 10. And then our third participant here is also a male Democrat who likes Trump a 1. All right, and I'm just going to walk real slow through this for all of our participants. So now we're looking at female Democrats. So we're looking at values of 2 for gender, and we're still a 2 for political party. This particular female Democrat likes Trump 2 out of 10, so we will just hit that 2. We're still on 2 for gender and 2 political party for our next female Democrat. They scored Trump a 1 out of 10. And our final female Democrat did the same. So a 2 for gender, 2 for political party, and a 1 for Trump. All right, so we're on to our next group, our next cell. We have males. So I'm just going to go ahead, since we have 3 males. I'll just do, all right, our first male. That's a 1 for gender. We're switching this to Republican now. I believe that was a 1. And this first person likes Trump 9. All right, the next one is also a male Republican. So we've got 1 and 1, and they like Trump 8 out of 10. And this final one is a 1 and a 1, and they like Trump 6. All right, final group. Thanks for bearing with me, just going real slow because this can be a little complicated. All right, so we're switching gender to female. So we've got 2. We are still in Republican, so we're going 1. And this particular person likes Trump a 5 out of 10. All right, so the next person is a 6. So we've got female, which is indicated by 2. Whoops. Republican is indicated by 1 in this data set, and they scored a 6. And then the final one, female, is 2. Republican is 1. Score is 6. All right, so taking it real nice and slow. This is what our final data set looks like. Let's see. What we're going to do now is head up to Analyze, and then we're going to something called General Linear Model. This is where you did the repeated measures ANOVA. We're actually going to go to Univariate right now. So what we're measuring is going to go into the dependent variable. I did not mean to do that. Sorry about that. That needs to go back over. All right, so what we're measuring here, the score that is being measured and compared across groups is how much they like Trump. So we're actually going to put that over into dependent variable. And since this is a 2-way ANOVA, we have 2 independent variables that we want to measure. We're going to put both of those into fixed factors. So participant, we're just leaving because we're not measuring how participant number pertains to how much they like Trump. We just want to know how much gender affects liking of Trump and how much political party affects how much someone likes Trump. So this is going to give us our 2x2 type table. I can't remember. I'm just going to check through these to make sure there's nothing we need. I'm not showing you post hocs at this point. That's right. Okay, so what you're going to want to do, we're back at this screen, you'll head over to options and select all of these and then move them all over to display means for. And what we want to click on is compare main effects. And then, oh, do I want to tell you about Bonferroni? I probably should. Okay, so there's this thing. If you're doing a lot of analyses at once, it affects your p-value. So in order to correct for that, we go to confidence interval adjustment and hit Bonferroni. Make sure you do that. This is important. This is not something I've talked about in class. It's pretty complicated, but I'm going to tell you now. We'll probably get into it in the next couple weeks. Bonferroni corrections. It sounds silly, but you should do it. This corrects for making errors when doing multiple analyses, because what we're doing is essentially a t-test between genders, a t-test between political parties, and we're doing an interactive test between genders. And each of these have a p of 0.05. So if we do all three of these at once, our chances of finding a result by chance go up if we don't correct for it. That's what Bonferroni does. I'll get into that a little bit more later in the semester. So be sure to click on that. I like descriptive statistics, and we're just going to go ahead and continue, leave the significance level at 0.05. And I think that's going to be it. We're going to hit OK, and we're going to get a lot of stuff. Okay,